So today I'm going to take you guys along with me for a hometown vlog. So we've been staying here in Orange County because I hosted a wax class and attended a business event. So I figured let me show you guys around, show you where it all started. I'll be taking you to my school, some of the places I've worked. I'm going to be getting waxed by a waxer that I actually worked with, Kylie, and now she has her own business and uses Rebel Wax.
Beauty Studio, this is Kylie. How can I help you?
Kylie, it's Bree with Rebel Wax.
Oh my gosh, hi.
Hi, I know this is super random. I'm in town and I was wondering if you happen to have any availability for a Brazilian today. I can't wait to see you. I'm so excited you had time. I appreciate it. All right, well, we'll see you soon. Okay, bye.
Bye.
That'll be fun. Okay, I'm excited. Okay, so Kylie, we used to work together at European Wax Center, the one in Newport that I showed you guys. Yeah, she's one of the OGs at that location. She opened up her own location. We always used to talk in the rooms in between clients about our dreams of moving on from that place and opening up our own businesses. So she did. It's Stripped OC. She's in Costa Mesa. So if you guys are in Costa Mesa, she's who I send all my old clients to. I recommend them to go visit her, but she's killing it. She uses Rebel Wax, so I'm super excited to bring you guys along. I get to get myself waxed because I'm Chewbacca, and yeah, this will be fun. It'll be nice to catch up.
Come along and check out where it is I grew up and where it all started. When we had our moving company, we would rent. We didn't have a truck yet, so we just would rent a truck from U-Haul. And then we upgraded to a box truck. 18th Street. And we had that pretty much up until before we moved to Bend. We ended up selling it to pay for the salon, and then we decided to officially close down. Smooth Sailings Moving. Perfect name for down here. We had some big moves. He actually moved quite a few people to Oregon. We did long hauls too. So this street is actually the same street that my first suite location was, where I was renting within a hair salon. So we'll go by that in a little bit. This was my commute from the trailer park, or you could take PCH too, which usually I opted for that because it's beautiful. I haven't been waxed in a minute. I've gotten nervous. This is like a great location too. I'm so proud of her. This is amazing. This is not like cheap, these little storefronts here. All right, here we are, Stripped OC to see Kylie. My turn. It's so good to see you. I'm so proud of you. Oh, I'm so proud. This is so cool. Thanks for seeing me today too. This is Ashley. Are you ready for me or do you need time? Okay, cool. I don't want to rush you. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, this space is incredible. Nice work. Nice wax pad. Nice SMA. This is so awesome. So you guys built all this out and you're doing the dang thing. How long have you been here now?
A year and a half.
Okay, cool.
Well, yeah, maybe a little more. April will be 2 years.
Okay, sweet. Ooh, doggy. I'm alive.
Better than coffee.
It is.
I'm so proud of you. You're doing so
Thank you. I'm proud of you too. Now I appreciate you using Rebel and our products and wax pads.
No offense, but if it sucked, I wouldn't use it.
No, I wouldn't. I definitely wouldn't want you to.
You know.
All right. Thank you, Kylie. I'll see you later. Bye. It was great to be waxed by someone who has the exact same technique and skill level, so that was great. So definitely hit up Kylie or Lindsay, Stripped OC, when you guys are down here if you need a wax. They're your girls. All right, next we are going to head to some of my first salon locations. So I'll show you guys first my first location going solo, where I was renting a room, and then we'll head over to my storefront. I'm also going to show you where I used to live while I was working at European Wax Center. We lived in a fifth wheel trailer at the Newport Dunes, so I'll take you guys there as well. So let's go. So that's Hoag Hospital. That's where Wyatt was born. And I also actually worked there for a little bit. I was going through medical assisting school. I thought I wanted to be like a nurse, but once I interned there, I was like, oh, this isn't for me. People are not happy to be here. So where all that construction is up top was a salon space that I was gonna move into after this original location because I kind of outgrew it. And I forget what it was, Agape, it was called Agape. And the lady ended up scamming me and stealing my money. So we moved in and out of that location within 24 hours and then moved back to the original spot before we found the PCH spot. So that was a very fun, interesting experience. Learned a lot from that one. Yes. This is also where we got married, was in Newport Harbor, because we got married on, not like, well, I guess kind of a yacht. Sounds very fancy. I guess it is kind of fancy, but it was just kind of like, I don't know, normal when we lived down here. Now getting out of Orange County, I'm realizing like this way of living isn't quite the norm. But yeah, that was fun. We had about 100 of us on a boat, got married. Riley was really little. It was super sketchy because she was like 3, running around the boat. We're like freaked out she's gonna fall off or something. She was quite the wild child, and someone thought it was a good idea to let her eat a lot of candy. So she was very hyped up on Mountain Dew. Okay, this is so Newport right here. The Prius with the Christmas tree, the chick walking with her workout outfit and her Starbies. That embraces Newport for you. So that red building is where I was at. But we'll drive around and park in the back and then I'll show you guys. Funny story, this pole, I was backing out of this spot once, was talking to my client, turned too quickly, hit the pole. One of those markings is probably from my car and left a big indent, and Chance was not very excited about this, but that's besides the point. So I will show you where my location was. This is it right here, this door, Suite 3. I don't want to go in there and disrupt them, but so this was my first location right here. It looks like there's people in there. It might still be a salon, but my room was in the back. It was a small little treatment room. But yeah, this was it. So I used to have a little table out front here with a little bell because there wasn't much of a waiting area. So I'd have people like ring the bell and then it would go off in my room and I'd know when my next client was here. So this is it. Now I'll show you where I moved after this location, over onto PCH. So this was a room rental, like I mentioned before. And then this next location was my first like commercial storefront space that Chance actually built out and created like a private treatment room. So we'll go check that out. This little like Lido village, super high end. Oh, where is it? Where's our boat? Oh. Maybe it's out. Maybe someone's getting married. All right, we are now on PCH, Pacific Coast Highway. Most of you have probably heard of PCH, even if you're not from the West Coast. Billy's one of our favorite spots, and Rusty Pelicans. There used to be what was that? Joe's Crab Shack right there too, which was a really fun spot to eat. So I actually was at this salon for 2.5 years still after moving to Oregon. So I was traveling back and forth. First because we needed the income still, and then I was going through a custody battle with my oldest daughter with her dad. So that was like really stressful. But I had to keep our current schedule, which was her going and visiting with him every weekend. So I was traveling back and forth. It was chaotic during COVID. It was wild. Definitely don't want to revisit that time of my life, but it was a season and we got through. But this is it right here. So this is where I'd wait for hours to be able to make a left turn, just like Bend. Actually, Bend is a place that is also very difficult to make left turns. Over here is the Balboa Bay Club, which is pretty popular. It's a hotel, and I believe they actually have like little apartments now as well. But this is a prime location. Like, my clients were fantastic. So I'd have people coming from Huntington, a lot of Newport clients, and then Corona Del Mar as well, which super like upper class, so great clientele to have. Frequented that Taco Bell often. And this location is also where I hosted some of my first wax classes as well. So had a lot of wax classes out of this location. I would take up to 4 girls at a time. Anything beyond that, the spot is pretty small. So, and when I was traveling back and forth, I left my car and I would park right there. And I would just leave my little car down here so that I had something to drive. Those are still my old curtains. That's crazy. So over here, I think actually where it's missing was where my sign was. It was pink and said Lash and Wax OC, our original logo though, not the ones you guys see now. That gate is new. That blocks apparently the bathrooms. They probably had some issues with that, but I'll show you where my salon was. I don't know if there's anyone in there right now. This tailor, okay, fun story though. This tailor was still here. She's been here forever. She's the one who helped me mock up my first ever wax pad. So you guys have probably heard me talk about her in some vlogs or on my podcast, but she is the one who helped me make the first like prototype. So this was it. That was my little salon. It was just one office space, and then my husband built a wall. And then what else? We put a little chandelier. So I had a private treatment room and then a reception area up front and a little lash chair as well. This location served me very, very well. This is really crazy to be back here. It looks like pretty much the same. It's wild. All right, now I'm gonna show you where we lived for quite some time in our 5th wheel trailer. So let's head over there. Chance's cousin, that is a celebrity hairstylist, Zach Mesquit. He used to work up in one of these locations up here. Oh, my salon. Yep, my salon suite. He was up there. That's where I believe it kind of started for him. Now he has a salon out of his house. He's somewhere here in Newport, or maybe even, no, I think he's in Newport, but more in the hills. His home is amazing. Or he might have moved, actually, now that I think about it. But I've always majorly looked up to him and been inspired by him, both by his authenticity, just like unapologetically being himself. He would get a lot of hate, but he just it didn't stop him from just doing his thing. And I love to have seen the growth and the journey for him in the industry as well. So this is the backside of the trailer park. So sometimes we would ride bikes and stuff down there, but we're getting close to where we'll turn. And we lived here for about 3.5 years in our 5th wheel trailer. Quite the adventure. At first it was fun. It was. And then it got old quickly, especially as our family grew and expanded, but it served its purpose and it allowed us to just be saving money and work closer to our goals and where we're at now. So don't regret it, but it was definitely quite the adventure. So that's the back bay. I don't know if you guys can see it. I'll show you. We'll be there in a second. And then this was really close to the European Wax Center. So when we first moved into the trailer, I was working at European Wax Center. And then we were still here when I moved on to the first location I showed you guys, where I was just renting the room. And people would ask, they're like, where do you live? If we're like Newport, they're like, how do you guys afford to live in Newport? I'm like, because we live in a trailer. But I do feel like we kind of I don't know, found a little gray area. We feel like we definitely cheated the system. Although now thinking about it, paying $1,200 for just a space rent is wild. But for us living in Orange County, that was like a steal, because the home we were renting before we decided to go just all in and really go for the goals and dreams that we had. Our house rental was like $3,200. So we're like, okay, this is saving us so much money and allowing us to be able to actually open up our own business and have the room to be able to start building. So, but it's just so crazy now being somewhere with somewhat normal prices. I don't know, I am proud of us for how well we did being a young family here in Orange County. And I did have some help from my grandpa, like with purchasing the trailer and stuff, but everyone likes to say, oh, you know, they paid your way. Nope, we very much bootstrapped it and worked hard and worked our way up. So he did help us with the purchasing of our trailer though, so super grateful for that. And he did help us purchase the box truck. So that was a huge help for sure. I am so grateful for that. All right, we're gonna be pulling in. This is so weird. So where you guys see all those tents right now, that's where Chance would have to park his moving truck out there. One time we actually came out to the lot and they had put a boot on his truck. One of the security guards, which I believe last time we were here, he was still working here. I wonder if that's him. He like had it out for Chance for some reason. So he was like giving us a really hard time and he put a boot on Chance's truck. Hi, we're just visiting. We'll be like about 10 minutes. Thank you. Okay, so this is where we would drive in every day. This was the front office up there to the right. So that's where we would get our mail. So we'd have to come and check our mail. There's a little market, but they way overcharge. Absolutely insane. Here's the little pool over to the left here. So I would take the kids swimming. And then up front here, so this is more of like an active campground, but you could live full-time as well. But all these spaces up front are for campers. So that's what we would call them, the campers, the weekend warriors. So we were always annoyed on the weekends. We're like, it's so busy. So having to drive, I'll go this way first, having to drive back here every day, to get to, you know, what was our home, it's like, oh my gosh, why are all these people here? So you can see, because today while we're filming this, it is a Tuesday, so it's pretty empty up front here. So this is where all the campers would be. There's the bay. We would go kayaking. So that was super cool. And actually during the summer, they'd have big blow up, like a playground out in the water. So the kids loved that. Riley is the one who would remember all of this. The kids were too young. Trinity and Wyatt wouldn't quite remember this. And then during the summer, they also had junior lifeguards. So Riley was able to do junior lifeguards right here in the back bay. But this still is all the campers. You guys will be able to tell when it's the full-timers because they kind of set up like, we had an outdoor area set up with a little portable carport tent, and we made it like an outdoor living room space. So if they still are allowing that, then you'll be able to tell who the full-timers are. Something that was really interesting though is technically you couldn't be like full-time. So we were able to be in one space for 6 months, and then you'd have to leave the park, like completely leave the park for 1 week, and then you could come back for another 6 months. So we would all fight over, now we're getting into the full-timers. So you can see how they kind of set up their little like fences and stuff to try to create some more privacy. But we would all fight for those corner spots back there because they had a little bit bigger like yard space, we would call it. But these are all the full-timers. We've been in like so many of these different spaces here. See this one, how big it is? So that was something we would like all fight for. You could book out like 2 years in advance. So oh my gosh, they're still here. I totally know them. I forget her name. I want to say Shelly. That's crazy. This was one of the spots we had right here next to this, and we actually had a easy up that was struck by lightning while we were staying there. And then we moved to this location, this corner spot here, and we loved this because it's big, and this is where we actually had our carport tent set up. And then for a long time we were actually on this back aisle, and we had a friend, his name, we call him RV Mike, because we didn't have a vehicle to actually tow our fifth wheel. So this is like a fifth wheel, but ours was huge. It was 40 feet and we couldn't tow it. We didn't have a vehicle. So Mike would, for our week out, for that week that we had to be out, we call it our week out, he would actually move our RV for us. But for a long time, we were actually in one of these spots here. Riley learned how to ride her bike here. She learned how to swim in that pool. Yeah, so lots of memories. And sometimes our shower wasn't quite quite working well, so we would actually walk down over here and use just the public showers over here. So this is crazy. This is bringing back a lot of memories. So definitely full-timers over here. You can see their setup. Yep, and here's the bathroom. We'd walk down and take showers. Parking was an absolute nightmare. But hey, for a trailer park, not too shabby. I'd say it was. We were doing just fine. Yeah, it looks like there's still a lot of full-timers. So when we had to do our week out, we would actually go to one of the RV parks in Huntington for that week. So it was kind of fun because it felt like, I don't know, a little mini vacation. And then actually Riley was in school too. She started kindergarten while we were here. So she went to actually really like nice school in Corona Del Mar because that's what we were zoned for. A lot of celebrity kids like Kobe Bryant's, some of his kids were there. If you guys know Greg Laurie, he's a pastor. He has a movie out about him now. I forget what it's called, but his one of his grandsons was in Riley's class. But we were so embarrassed because our car was like so beat up and we're driving to this school where people are in Porsches and Bentleys and Lambos, and we were just like the Beverly Hillbillies of the school, and our clothes, and like it was just, we were out of our element. But it's kind of funny to look back on. And then after a little while she was able to take the bus, so the bus would actually pick her up from the front over here. So crazy. So yep, this is where we lived for a little while, but this is, you know, shows if you're willing to do the hard things and get outside of your comfort zone and be a little what's that word I'm looking for, creative, I guess. Yeah, it definitely served its purpose, and I'm glad that we decided to do this because it really helped us to get ahead, and it was a stepping stone towards where we are now. But yeah, this is really crazy to be back here. But we would drive Riley up to the front. We had Chance actually got a motorcycle, a little like yeah, he had a motorcycle for a little bit, and he would ride her up to the to the school bus and pick her up. It was crazy. All right, so this is the Back Bay scenic route. So we would go walking back here. You can drive back here as well. And we used to ride our road bikes when we try to kind of get into that for a little bit. But I also, when I was in high school during the summer, I did crew. So I don't know if you guys can see the boats over there. Let me try to get to a spot where, oh, it looks like there's a little gap over here. But I used to do crew, so like the, you know, rowing boat. So it's called the NAC, the Newport Aquatic Center. So I did that. So Back Bay is like, it's so gorgeous. We would kayak back here and explore, and it was really fun. So there's the NAC where I used to do crew. It's fun. You can see some of the boats on the shore there. So I was actually the size of what a coxswain would be. So a coxswain is usually the smallest one on the team. They're the one who's like shouting out like the rhythms and the stroke patterns and all of that. But they have to be small and lightweight so that it's not adding too much more weight to the boat. But I had a lot of upper body strength. I was really strong. And I used to actually do wrestling in high school too. So believe it or not, I was the only girl on the wrestling team. And anyway, so I had a lot of upper body strength. So they put me in seat 7, which is usually saved for one of the bigger girls. So me weighing in at like coxswain weight, I was in seat 7, which they're the ones who are the coxswains right in front of you. They're seat 8 and then seat 7. And those are the 2 strongest of the team because you're like, you're listening to the coxswain's commands and then you're setting the tone for the rest of the boat. So that was pretty cool. I really enjoyed crew. That was really fun. So there's 8 plus the coxswain, so 9 girls per boat. And then there's something called sculling where that's the single rowers. So that was a good time. So I'd kind of go this way and then you could shoot up this hill up here and get to European Wax Center, and this keeps going. We probably won't go that way, but yeah, this is fun. Spent a lot of time back here. So now we're gonna head to Huntington, and I'm gonna show you where I grew up, where we lived, and then I'll also take you guys by the aesthetic school that I went to and where I got my license and where it truly all started. So we will head that direction. Probably gonna grab some lunch at one of my favorite spots too. Yeah. This is officially Huntington. So this is where I grew up, born and raised, lived here. When did we move? I can't remember how old I was, maybe like 29. So lived 29 years of my life here. There's all the wetlands. It's been built up a lot too. Those smokestacks are kind of like a staple of Huntington. That and the pier. And at the end of the pier used to be Ruby's, but that's no longer there, which is crazy. That's been there forever. That was kind of a disappointment when they closed that down. Grew up going there. But we're gonna go head down to the beach near the pier so you guys can see that and visit one of our friend's shops that his family has owned forever. So I think they actually serve lunch there now, so we're gonna go grab some lunch, say hi to Joe, and then pick up some merch for Mr. Chance to bring back home. This is Newland Street, and right to the right here is where we would do our week out when we had to leave the Newport Dunes. And actually my mother-in-law, so that's the trailer park right there, Waterfront Resort, and my mother-in-law also did the trailer thing for a little while, so she was in there for a couple years as well. This is Beach Boulevard. You guys have probably heard of Beach Boulevard, even if you're not from around here. I'd say PCH and Beach Boulevard are pretty popular streets, but this is the Hyatt. This is kind of a newer build when talking, living here for 28 years. I would say probably last 8, 9, maybe even 10 years at this point, but all of us were really mad. All of us locals are mad when they build this all out. This is also Pacific City. We're like, what are you doing to our little town? But it's pretty cool. A lot of my old friends and stuff work at different restaurants and shops and stuff within here. But this, for the longest time, was just like open fields, and we would like build BMX jumps and go ride our bikes and stuff through there. But now we're getting into downtown Huntington, where I definitely spent a lot of my time when I was younger, especially as a teenager. Once I got a little bit older, it's definitely a spot I kind of avoided for a little while there. You could see the pier. Okay, so it still has the red roof. That makes me very happy because that's how I always remember it. And that used to be Ruby's, which was like a, you can get milkshakes, burgers, fries. And I'm not quite sure what it is now. This next light here it should be Main Street. So it's like the heart of downtown Huntington. All of this right here is all Pacific City, which is, again, fairly new. This is the Junior Lifeguards headquarters to the left over here. And then down below is Kokomo's, which I actually helped when that first opened. It's owned by the same owners as Park Bench Cafe, which is a little more inland by Miles Square, or is it Miles Square Park? One of the parks in Huntington. And Park Bench Cafe was somewhere that was geared towards people bringing their dogs. So I worked there while I was in high school, and I was a host, and then did I become a server? I think I did start serving a little bit. Yeah, so that was fun. But yep, did lifeguards all right here. I did the whole jumping off the pier and swimming to shore. Crazy story with that. I jumped, and then I noticed the rest of the group was no longer jumping, and they stopped them from jumping. And then we had instructors on surfboards, and they're like, let's see how fast you can go. Let's see, get your best time. And like, so we were just swimming in normal, and I was kind of like, that's odd. Come to find out there was a shark spotted, so they stopped the rest of the group from jumping, and they were trying to get us without panicking to like swim to shore. So that was terrifying. I'm glad I found that out later though.
Clever.
Yes. We just passed a little burger spot that was my favorite too, TK Burgers. And then here's the heart of Huntington right here, Main Street. There used to be a movie theater right on the corner back there. Chance and I used to meet up there when we were young. Chance and I actually, and if we have time, and I think we will, we'll go ahead and take you by the middle school that we met at, which was Dwyer. And actually, he ended up proposing to me on that field too, which was super cute on Valentine's Day. This is so weird. Wow. my mother-in-law's husband, he worked out on those oil rigs out there, so that's what those are. It's oil. That's what Huntington's always been known for. So actually our high school mascot was the Oilers. And then that's Tower Zero right there. So Tower Zero is the lifeguard tower. And they have these rhino binoculars that you can literally see cars driving on Catalina Island. And all those ships out there that you see are waiting to pull into the Long Beach port. Our first shipping container that we actually purchased, I didn't even think to have it sent to Portland. I was just thinking like the closest port would be like Long Beach or LA. So our first one actually went into the Long Beach port, and then we trucked it all the way up to Oregon. So always learning when it comes to the shipping stuff. All right, so we're about to walk up to Zach's. Our friends that we went to high school, mostly Chance knew them. I knew the younger brother, Mo, but it's been family owned for years, so it's a pretty staple of Huntington. So we're gonna go check that out. This is so cool.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, Joe, right?
Yeah, how
I'm
are you?
Bree. I'm Chance's wife. Nice
Joe,
to
nice to
meet
meet
you.
you. Yeah,
This is
nice to meet you.
Ashley.
How you doing?
We're doing a little hometown vlog
All
today.
right, cool. Yeah, he
Oh,
texted me.
oh, cool.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, we were gonna grab some
Watch
food
you on every move.
yeah, she already is.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I think we're gonna eat, and then I'll probably grab some, buy some hats and stuff to bring home to them, and some tank tops and
look
stuff.
at the menu. Let me know. What
Yeah,
you
this
want.
is so cool. When did you do this?
Probably, I want to say right before the summer.
Okay,
Yeah,
amazing.
Yeah, we landed the beer and wine like I want to say a month and a half ago.
That's huge. Yeah, was that hard?
It was
Go
hard,
through that
but,
process?
we were patient, you know what I mean, and
Yeah.
everything aligned. We did it.
Yeah, that's amazing. Good
Yep.
for you guys.
Yep.
All right, we're gonna get some lunch, and I'll be back in. Thanks.
Now we're straight. Chance sent me money. We're good.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Oh, thank
Yeah.
you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
I'll bring it out to you when it's ready.
Okay, thank you. This is so awesome. I'm so proud of them. This is very cool to see some locals thriving and growing their biz. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Of course.
Eek. Ooh, that was hot. I just burnt my a little piece of my tongue. Today's just a hometown vlog. We're in Oregon now, so
Oh, really? How do you guys like it in Oregon?
I love it. It's been great.
You
Yeah.
got a little ranch, a little farm too.
Yeah, a little hobby farm.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, it's fun.
You need a receipt.
No, I'm good. Thank you.
You guys are all set.
Thank you so much.
Of course.
I wanted to
Enjoy
say
your guys'
bye. Thanks, you too. Thank you. It's nice to see you.
You too.
We'll be back. Thank you so much.
You have 2 hats, yeah?
Are you sure?
Yeah,
Really?
No, Chance is gonna take care of me when I come up there.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Grab
We
a
will.
couple hats.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Cool. Good.
Like a slightly pink one.
This one? Or I might do just. Is this look
Oh, it's cute.
cute?
Yeah.
Okay, and then we'll get the camo. All right. Thank you. Bye. Thank you. All right, where to now? So probably head for sure. I'll show you guys where I went to school, and then we do need to kind of start making our way towards the airport so we don't miss our flight. So if we have time, I'll do my best to bring you guys back by where I grew up, my childhood home. I lived there for, well, I moved out when I was 18, so lived there for 18 years. We'll see if we have time for that, but if not, we'll definitely go to West College where I went to school and got my license. This on the right coming up is Fiesta Grill, so we would come down here, really good Mexican food. Chance and I actually ate there before. Where is it? Where it says fish tacos. That's Fiesta Grill. There was a donut shop there too. We would sometimes go pick up donuts before school, but we went and ate there before Chance proposed to me, and apparently I went to like hold his hand and I almost touched the ring in his pocket. So he was nervous about that. And then this is Palm. So this actually connects to where I grew up and used to live, but This is the middle school Dwyer that Chance and I originally met. So we met in 8th grade here at Dwyer. I got expelled from my private Catholic school. That's a story for another time. But then I got transferred over here to Dwyer, and I'm glad I did because this is where Chance and I met. So we actually met for the first time right there on the field. So this is Dwyer. And then he proposed to me at the bottom of those steps right there on Valentine's Day in, I think that was 2014. So in February of 2014, and then we got married September 21st. But yeah, this is where we met. This is where it all began. And then after Dwyer, we went to Huntington High. So I'll take you guys by Huntington High School. And Chance and I stayed in communications throughout high school, but it was one of those things. It wasn't good timing for us to be like necessarily dating because I was nervous to introduce him to my grandparents, but he was always like, something always pulled us back together, and he definitely was my puppy crush, and I guess still kind of is. And now we've been married for 10 years and have 3 kids, and it's crazy. So I only went to Dwyer for about a month because it was the end of 8th grade that I got transferred over here. But then I'll show you guys Huntington High. Went there for all 4 years. Let's see if I remember. And I don't even have my GPS on. Look at me. Look at me go. All right, so now Huntington will be coming up on the left here. That tower is Huntington. It's kind of a staple of the high school. Back there is the entrance to the parking lot. I actually got my license when I was a sophomore, and we were not allowed to park. So I would have to find parking along these streets back here and walk to school. Here it is. Here's Huntington. Crazy. Played softball on those fields back there. My grandparents, when I turned 18, they put a happy birthday sign up on that thing up there. All right, here's Huntington. Nope, it's a really big high school. There it is. I was on the wrestling team here. Chance would come and watch me practice. Here's Capsui Field. There used to be a skate park up front here where Chance would go skate. And then that's the field where I graduated on. And I ran into Chance and we both looked at each other. We're like, what are you doing here? Because we both barely graduated. But I remember seeing him and I'm like, oh my gosh, you made it. I'm so proud of you. And then we kind of went our separate ways there for a little while until we were 21. So then we reconnected and we went out on our first date to Gyukaku, which I've taken Ashley there quite a few times now. It's one of my favorite spots. Went out on our first date. He came over and then he never left, and the rest is kind of history from there. So we've been together again because we dated in high school when we went to Dwyer, whatever dating in 8th grade means. But then, yeah, once we reconnected, so we dated for about 2.5 years before he proposed there on the field at Dwyer, and then we got married pretty quickly after that, and now we've been married for 10 years. And now we're going down Golden West, and I'll take you up Palm, and that is where I grew up over off of Seacliff. So we'll head there next. It is a gated community. I grew up on a golf course with my grandparents, and I don't know if they'll quite let us in. Maybe I'll try, maybe not. Maybe we'll just kind of do a little drive-by, show you guys the entrance. But grew up there. Lived there until I was 18, and I actually moved out while I was still in high school. I do not recommend any of you youngins, if you happen to come across this video and you're watching, don't do that. I created a little bit of a headache for myself, but it was part of my journey. But yeah, I moved out right when I turned 18. So I turned 18 in March. I think I moved out like in April, was still in high school. I don't know how I did it, how I made it, but I made it happen. Got an apartment. I graduated. Can't believe I actually graduated. I'm glad I did, but yeah, this is where I grew up, and we lived here until about 4.5, 5 years ago. You can see the beach down there. I definitely do miss living at the beach sometimes. Ooh, this fountain coming up here to the left. I remember when it got first put in, and we'd go put bubbles in there, put soap, and it would just be bubbling everywhere. That was fun. That was a little bit of a terror. I feel bad about it. Over here is the wetlands. We'd go ride our bikes out there, build jumps, make works bombs, if you guys know what that is. Don't recommend. All right, and then up here on the right, this next light here is where, and I cannot remember the street name, which is driving me crazy. We're on Sea Point, but I can't remember this name, so not here. This next one is the Estates. Maybe I'll try to sweet talk the security guard to letting me in. We'll see, but this is where I grew up. Oh, Doral, yeah, because that was the street that my house was on, so 6542 Doral Drive. That is where I grew up. I hope they let us in. I don't know what to say. We'll see. Hello, how are you doing? Okay, this is gonna sound weird. So I grew up here and I'm doing a hometown vlog, and I was hoping you'd let me just kind of do a quick drive through.
You just want to drive through?
Yeah, can you give me like 3 to 5 minutes? Okay, awesome, you're awesome. I appreciate that. Thank you, sir. We made it. Okay, this is so crazy. This is very weird. I haven't been in here for years. So pretty much it's one big loop with like these streets that kind of go down the center here. Okay, so my house was up here on the right. So this is where I grew up. Those front windows up there, that was my bedroom. Yep, 6542 Doral. There's our mailbox. This is crazy. There was our neighbor. So fun story. I'm going to drive you guys down here too and show you where I'd break in on the golf course. So the driving range is down here. So I would jump the fence and go collect golf balls. But this is the hole that I lived on. So our backyard backed right up to this hole. My brother and I would ride our scooters around here. Where those red flowers are, that was our backyard right there. It's crazy. But so when our neighbors to the left moved out, I really wanted kids to move in because it's a lot of like older people in here. So I used to play the drums, and I had my drum set up in that front bedroom. So when the realtors would bring people and I saw that they didn't have kids or as an older couple, I would just play as loud and as obnoxiously as I could, hoping that they'd be like, we don't want to move in next to them. And then we ended up actually getting neighbors that had 3 kids. So I was so excited about that. So my plan worked. Okay, down here is the driving range. So see where this like pillar is right here? I learned how to like kind of jump up there, jump on the fence, jump there, jump over, and then I'd go under the netting and I would collect a bunch of golf balls and put them in our dishwasher and clean them up and then try to sell them to golfers. But I didn't know that they like marked the driving range balls. So then the golfers are like, these are driving range balls, they're free. I'm like, damn it. So then I opted out of selling golf balls and I started selling water bottles to the golfers on the golf course. And then I would jump the fence over here too, and there's actually a tunnel that goes under, so, and it comes up right here, and I had a clubhouse built up here because there used to be these long like leaves that hung down, and we were able to hide behind them, and we built out like a whole little clubhouse. Like at some point I got like a couch back there. I can't freaking remember how the heck I got a couch back there, but we had like a whole setup. It was super cool. So this is where I grew up. This is my childhood home. Super crazy. One thing when I was a kid, I was like, this is so lame. We weren't allowed to have garage sales. And I just remember wanting to have a garage sale so bad. I've been an entrepreneur since forever. Like I used to come up to the guard gate when they weren't looking, I'd cut flowers because they had like beautiful flowers, and I'd go set up a little stand and start selling flowers to people that were like out walking their dogs. So it started at a very young age, but that was cool. Okay, that was really fun to show you guys. Super crazy for me to be back here. It's wild, but I'm thankful they let us in. Now we're gonna go ahead and head over to Golden West College, and that will be our last stop. All right, now we're getting to not my first job. My first job was at Bagel Mania because our friends owned it and she let me work there. before I was actually of age, but this was one of my first jobs. It's gonna be up here on the right. This is Central Park, so spent a lot of time here too. Yep, there it is. Oh my gosh, Park Bench Cafe, it's still here. So I was a hostess here and then a server. I think they're closed on, I know they used to be closed on Mondays, but it's Tuesday, so, oh, they close early. They just do breakfast. So this is it right here, and they usually when they're open, they will actually set up a bunch of tables and chairs and stuff out here on the patio and out in the grass, and you can bring your dogs, and they actually have a dog menu as well. So that was a job of mine when I was in high school. All right, well, we shall continue, and we're almost to Golden West College where I got my license. All right, here is Golden West College. All right, so we're here. I think I found the right spot, but we're at Golden West College. I remember parking over here, so I'd have to drive Riley to daycare every morning first, and that, I just remember that being like the hardest part of my whole school experience. But I would drop Riley off at daycare and then come and walk back this way, and the Esthetics building should be off to the right. We're getting some funny looks because we're walking around with the camera, but I'm just going to ignore that. I actually have a class picture we can definitely show, and that was taken right out here on the other side of these tennis courts right here. But yeah, I did my schooling, so the schooling wasn't super expensive in itself, but Riley's daycare, I just remember it being double the cost of what my schooling was, and it was just a lot. She turned 1 while I was in aesthetic school, and I was only 19, so I was young myself. So I would say that was like the biggest hurdle and obstacle, was figuring out being a new mom, going to school full time, paying bills. Like it was rough. Oh my gosh, yes, this is it. It's that green awning way over there. Yep, that group class picture was taken right here. It's still there. Looks like it might even be the same awning. Yeah, there it is. That's it. Well, this is where it all began. This is where I went to school, got my license. Thank you guys for coming along on the hometown journey. I hope this inspires you guys to just take those next steps. Don't think so far ahead, okay? Just think, what are my next 1 or 2 steps? Go after it, get after it, stay committed, stay consistent even when you're not seeing the results, because you too can have a success story like we are so blessed to have, and I'm here to support you in that as well. So thank you guys for coming along. I love you guys so much, and I will see you back on the next video.